bourgeois bitch, bourgeois bonquette bitch. Even
Thank
better.
God I got a new drag name.
Hello everybody, welcome back. My name is Phil Marriott. If you love music and movies, this is the channel for you. So today we've got a psychological drama stroke thriller, starring one of our favourites, Andrea Riseborough. Can we just talk about her first of all? Because the film is called Here Before, but Andrea Riseborough, I thought she was a bit of a recent discovery for me, but then I realised I've actually seen her in quite a lot of films. I mean, this goes way back. She was in recently The Grudge, the remake of the Japanese horror, which was terrible, but she was really good, and I think she's always really good in films. She was in W.E. Do you remember the Madonna film she directed?
Was in W.E. She was in National Treasure. If you remember that TV show,
with Julie Walters.
Really, bleak, very bleak. She's a legend. She's actually amazing. She's really brilliant.
We reviewed a film that she was in a couple of years ago at the London Film Festival, which was Possessor, Brandon Cronenberg's film, you know, David Cronenberg's son. But yeah, this is called Here Before. It's directed by Belfast-born writer-director Stacey Gregg. We'll come on to the things that we love about this. Well, I'm speaking for you. I'm speaking for myself. I'm not being presumptuous that you love this.
So presumptuous.
But it does star BAFTA-nominated Andrea Riseborough. It stars Jonjo O'Neill, Eileen O'Higgins, Martin McCann. Do you want to talk about the story first of all, Sean?
Yeah, I don't want to give too much away because there's a real plot line here, but it's set in Northern Ireland. Our core character, Laura, she's living on an estate, and she gets some new neighbours who move in next door, and weirdly she becomes a bit transfixed with the young daughter of the new neighbours, who's called Megan, and it ties back into a bigger story about Laura's grief for her own daughter. And
isn't it funny, because it starts off quite sweet. I mean, you see them going shopping, you see her, you know, seeing her neighbour in the shops, and everything's kind of quite rosy to begin with. They have this friendship which is, you know, quite a nice friendship. They're not that close because obviously they don't know each other that well. Yeah, exactly. But they do that neighbourly thing. But then soon cracks, you know, start to appear, and it does, you know, her personality does become quite dark. But I like the fact that this was quite a sympathetic portrait of a woman who obviously was grieving, because we find out that, you know, she did lose her daughter a few years ago. But it didn't overplay that drama, I don't think. You know, there's a lot of tension in that, but it wasn't cheesy in that respect. Do you know what I mean? It didn't push the foot on the accelerator too much.
What I think is very clever is it alludes to the grief, and you're aware of it. It's often how within the film Laura starts to believe things that may or may not be true, and it's clever in a way how it works, because you're thinking, is that the case? Is it something a bit more supernatural or a bit more, and it's very smart how it works. You know, we've seen before, actually a little bit of Step More. Coming in Step More, you're like, is it really happening? Or is it the character? Is it like some form of psychosis? And there's elements that are not the same, but it's similar, where you're thinking, oh my gosh, what if? And it goes beyond the realms of you know, logic, but then you're in a what if space. I'm not gonna say any more.
With dramas like this, we see, you know, that whole kind of predictable, oh, it's all in her head, it's not actually happening. And I think there are hints at that with this, but it doesn't really go there so much in the same way. It's not that predictable. I think it's quite clever and quite unique, although we've seen similar storylines. Mind you, saying that, I mean, that whole reincarnation element of this, we don't really see so much. I mean, it used to happen, I think, back in the 70s and 80s. We used to see that quite a lot in dramas, stroke horrors like this. But, you know, I thought that was quite refreshing.
I loved kind of like kitchen sink feel of it. You know, it was like an estate in Northern Ireland, and it was, you know, I think it was really, I liked the mood of it. At times, though, it did lose me. And so I'm not sure whether, because I see my cat's tail just swishing around. She has a view on this too.
She loved this movie.
It would very much suit my cat. But at times it did lose me. And I'm not sure whether that intensity could be held. And that would probably be one of my criticisms, really, when I think about this movie, is I'm not sure whether it held me as much as I wanted it to. And I'm a huge Andrea Riseborough fan.
That's really interesting, because there was a scene in this where I thought it was going to go down the Fatal Attraction route. I don't know if you remember Fatal Attraction. There's that scene where, well, the abduction scene with the child. And I'm not going to say anything to spoil it with this film, but I thought, oh wow, we're going there. Okay, this is going to get quite dramatic and quite full on. It didn't really so much, but saying that, it never really bored me, this film. I felt quite, engrossed, quite captivated by it.
Maybe I'm being harsh, but I'm a hard marker. The twist.
That old chestnut.
I'm a hard marker, I'm not gonna lie. The twist in it, I wasn't expecting. But then I was like, that's kind of quite clever in a way, as a way of describing some of the thoughts and feelings and emotions that Laura's going through. So it was not the twist I was expecting. But yeah, maybe it's me. Maybe it's me, not you. Maybe I wasn't in that right frame of mind when I was watching this movie that maybe you were. And I think it was one of those moody, emotional films. But it didn't land as hard as I wanted it to, but I did enjoy it.
Yeah, I think it could have been, more dramatic. Yeah, but I think, when you've got somebody like Andrea Riseborough, who I think always expresses so much, her face, I mean, it tells so many stories. It tells enough, I think, even without her to actually verbalise anything. I think she's amazing. There's so much going on with her eyes.
And the ways that she's masterfully captured the kind of that Belfast, Northern Irish. It was amazing. I thought she was
I never thought for one second she wasn't from Northern Ireland either. And I think that's a trick as well in itself, isn't it? Because I think if you've got somebody who's putting on another accent or doing another language, and sometimes it does feel like it pulls you out of it because you know that that's not their native tongue.
Yeah. And I don't want to make generalizations, obviously, like England and Wales. There are nuances with the accent, but she captured something, I think, with her portrayal, and it was believable. So in no ways did I not find her believable or a story believable. I did like the mood of it. For me, on the day, and I might watch it today and be like, it's the best thing since sliced bread. But for me, on the day, it didn't land as hard as I thought I wanted it to.
It's from a female director, and I think we're seeing so many female directors, particularly with this genre of either horror or thriller, kind of that real dramatic feel of a film. And I think we've got so many great female directors that are coming to the fore. We've had Rose Glass for Saint Maud, Prano Bailey Bond for Censor, Jennifer Kent, The Babadook, and of course more recently The Nightingale, and now Stacey Gregg. So I'm looking forward to seeing what she does next, because this is her featured directorial debut. It looks really confident as a piece, as a cinematic piece. It did feel cinematic to me, because was it BBC Films? I think it might have been BBC Films movie, this one.
I think it had a £3 million budget, so it's a good sum of money, and as a debut, it's a strong piece of work. Also,
with some of the thriller tropes that you think you're going to get something, you don't with this, and that did surprise me a little bit too, because like I say, we've seen similar stories before. I don't always love kids in movies. The kids I thought were okay in this. Didn't have a problem.
Fair. Yeah, I think I'm with you. It's a very fine line between kind of like talent and precocious, and I think they walked the fine line quite nicely. Yeah, no, I think they did a really good job. Really good job.
It was Neve Dornan, I think her name was, who plays
Neve Dornan,
the daughter.
And heads off to the guy that played Brendan, which is Jonjo O'Neill. I thought the cast was good. I thought his cast was really good. I thought the mood was good. I like the setting. I thought the twist and the interest about how it played with grief was really well thought through and considered.
Okay, star rating in just a sec. First of all, question of the day. What is the finest Andrea Riseborough movie, Sean?
Oh, God. Ooh. I'm not going to go to a movie. I'm going to go to... I thought that when she was in National Treasure was her breakthrough moment for her.
For me, again, another TV series, Bloodlines. Did you see Bloodlines?
I did see Bloodlines. That's very good.
She had a relatively small role in that, but I thought she was phenomenal in that TV series. And again, she's so diverse because she plays different characters. She does love, or seem to love, those really tough characters, the characters that do show a lot of emotion and do have a bit of a hard time in films and TV shows. And, there's another one, Bloodlines.
Yeah, it's interesting. We interviewed Alistair Hall when he did Rose Pandemic. And Alistair and I often talk about, he's also a huge Andrea Riseborough fan, so we often spend a lot of time talking about her because she is so brilliant.
So star rating for me, it's a 4, because I did think it was really well done. Love Andrea Riseborough. I thought the acting overall, even with the supporting cast, I thought was great. Yeah, 4 stars for me. I liked it.
3 stars. 3 stars for me.
Not so enthusiastic, but still appreciative, right?
So no, yeah, I appreciate it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was solid. I thought it was good. I thought it deserved 3 stars.
So it's called Here Before. It's hitting cinemas in the UK and Ireland on the 18th of February. The film's also going to be released, by the way, with Curzon Home Cinema, so you can enjoy it in the luxury of your own pad.
Gorgeous. Yay! Have a cup of tea, whack the telly on.
Bicky, put your feet up.
What's not to love? These people have never had it so good.
Have you ever done that at cinema, by the way? Have you ever had a cup of tea and put your feet up in a cinema on the seat in front?
I'm going to say something really bourgeois now, which is when I lived in Mexico City, which is the first bourgeois statement, there used to be these like really glossy cinemas that you can go to, which is now kind of like rolled out. But Mexico City was the first workplace I experienced it. And you'd get on these big leather bed banquettes and they'd serve you a martini.
I love it. Hashtag bourgeois bitch. Bourgeois bonquette bitch. Even
Thank
better.
God I got a new drag name.
It's all sorted for you.
It's me being bougie, having a martini, cinema in Mexico City. Sorry,
she's styling it out.
I'm such an idiot. You can always write idiot in the comments.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you, Sean. We'll see you on the next one. We've got lots of BFI Flair stuff to get our teeth into. Yeah, it's going to be exhausting, but brilliant. That's what I keep telling myself.
And I'm just going to nod. And maniacally smile.